Welcome. In this first lecture, we're going to be talking about metacognition. Metacognition is thinking about thinking. Think of these questions. Has alien life visited us? Are they still around? Have they left us messages for us to interpret? Does the government know about it? And has there been a multi-generational cover-up within the government? Are we descendants from alien cultures? This course is about metacognition, about thinking about thinking. In this course, I will introduce concepts of critical thinking. Critical thinking is a skill, and as a skill, it must be practiced and it must be learned. As humans, we are capable of logic, but we are not naturally logical beings. We are essentially emotional beings. Many, if not most, of our daily decisions are emotional and/or unconscious. Critical thinking skills allow us to bring the decision-making process into our conscious mind and to make logical decisions. Science and belief permeate our daily lives. Our culture and our civilization is dependent on science. How we think about everyday issues is critical to our lives. For example, we face environmental crises. Is there such a thing as global warming? And are the activities of humankind contributing to global warming? Is there something we can do to stop or even reverse global warming? Are we causing it? What can we do about it? What should we do in order to invest our very limited resources to work on the problem, to solve this problem? We have to make everyday decisions. Decisions about what products we buy. Are you making those decisions emotionally, unconsciously, or logically? One good example is exercise equipment. I saw the other day advertised on television a piece of exercise equipment, and they said 4 minutes a day using this exercise equipment is equivalent to a full hour of exercise. Is that true? How do we know whether this is true or not? Is it something we should invest our limited resources into? Is it something you should spend some of your hard-earned money on? We tend to rely on anecdotes and not require objective scientific data to make our decisions. Anecdotes, the personal stories people tell. We have to make regular healthcare decisions with our health services, our products, the foods, the lifestyles we choose. We do need critical thinking skills to evaluate these decisions appropriately. We are our brains. Our brains remember. Our brains give us our emotions, our feelings. They give us our beliefs. They allow us to calculate, to extrapolate. They allow us to infer, to deduce. Our brains are our best tool and our greatest strength. However, our brains are also deceptive. Our brains fool us. They lie to us. We possess logic. But we are not logical creatures like the Vulcans of Star Trek. We are highly emotional creatures. We tend to follow our emotions rather than our logic. We follow the path of least resistance. Critical thinking and logic are learned skills. Similar to, say, playing sports or music. Somebody isn't just naturally a great sports player. They're just not naturally a great musician. But these are skills that have to be learned and they have to be practiced over and over again. Humans tend to make many, many errors in thinking. These are called logical fallacies. Our errors in thinking, another term for it, is logical fallacies. Our flaws in thinking are fallacies. We have false assumptions. We even have unreliable memories. We tend to use what psychologists call heuristics. Heuristics are these mental shortcuts of our patterns of thinking. They can lead us astray. This course helps us compensate for some of these human flaws. I'm going to be focusing much on this course on skepticism, specifically scientific skepticism. Skepticism is not doubt. Skepticism is questioning everything you know. Skepticism is questioning the process of thinking. Skepticism is questioning even how you think. Scientific skepticism is not simply doubt. It's a set of methods for examining reality and comparing ideas to really what's out there, to all the external stuff. It allows us to arrive at conclusions that are likely to be true. It leads to conclusions that are actually true and not just conclusions that we want to be true. Science follows a set of methods, and critical thinking is based on these methods. Now, not all science is valid. There's a whole category of science called pseudoscience. And in this course, we're going to spend an entire 2 lectures, actually, on pseudoscience. For example, water as fuel. You may have heard about this, where people claim that they can actually burn water as fuel. But if this is true, how has science missed this in all of these years? Is there really a conspiracy of oil companies? Is it truly plausible that all of these oil companies, maybe even the government, has gotten together and suppressed all of the research on actually burning water as fuel? How large would this conspiracy have to be? How about conspiracy theories? Is it plausible that there is a group called the Illuminati who are really trying to take over the world? Is it plausible that the government is involved in all sorts of different conspiracies? That big business is involved in a whole variety of conspiracies? Is it really, truly plausible? In this course, we're going to look at the nature of knowledge. What does it mean to know something? Natural effects must have natural causes. This is called methodological naturalism. All natural effects must also have natural causes. We cannot refer to the supernatural. We cannot, in our real world, say this happened through magic, through miracles. You cannot be doing an experiment and say, and then a miracle occurred. All natural effects have natural causes. All conclusions in science, however, are provisional. There is nothing that is 100% true, not 100% certain. All beliefs are open to some sort of revision. Humans, just as being humans, we are subject to delusions. We tend to invent our own reality. We're going to explore this more in further lectures. Thinking is a process. The aspect of critical thinking is to invest in the process and not in the conclusion. When we invest in the conclusion, we have a tendency to twist the facts and our observations to fit the conclusion. We call this rationalization. We're currently in what's frequently been called the age of information. But unfortunately, it's also the age of misinformation. It's full of rumors, urban myths. People are trying to influence your voting. They're influencing the products that you buy through marketing claims. They're coming out with very, very persuasive speeches. And we're in a culture that's rampant with pseudoscience. For example, you might have heard about a variety of different power bands. These are these little magnetic strips that you wear around your wrist, and they're supposed to improve your balance, improve your energy. There's lots of celebrity endorsements. And we are absolutely compelled by these endorsements. We have professional basketball players and football players and golfers swearing by these power bands. They even now have clothing with these magnetic fibers woven through them, claiming that this magnetic clothing will improve your balance and improve your performance. And we're absolutely compelled by all of these stories. The emotional stories, the stories of these famous athletes, we're compelled by them. But are they true? The process of critical thinking examines all of these premises, examines the logic behind it. We try to become aware of our motivations. That's why do we want this conclusion to be true? Think through all of the implications. That is, if this were true, what else must be true? All of our beliefs should be compatible with each other so that we do not have conflicting beliefs. We frequently need to check with others. Check with others and see, are we on the right track? Is there flaws in our logic? Check with others to see what research others are doing. We need to be humble and actually know our limits. What are our limits when it comes to our knowledge? And most specifically, we have to be uncomfortable with uncertainty because we simply cannot know everything. And nothing is 100% certain all the time. Thinking is a learned skill. And what we're going to be discussing in this course is the aspects of thinking, metacognition, critical thinking skills. In our next lecture, we'll be looking at actually the neuroscience, the chemicals in your brain, how your brain works, and the neuroscience of belief.